85th legislature, all right, with much debate, finally passed a budget, I believe, of $217 billion. Now, half of that budget, I mean, $100 million is already spoken. What do you call it? Medical services, Medicare, Medicaid?
Articles 2, services, and from education.
Right. So when you start off with a $200 billion budget, half of it's already spoken for. Matter of fact, I'd say it'd be safe to say with all the mandates in place, that almost 2/3 of it is already spoken for. So there's not much wiggle room, right? $217 billion budget. What, in your opinion, should not have made the budget this past session, and what will you do in the next session to lower that budget?
Well, you have to put the budget in perspective of how Texas is with the United States and the rest of the world. Depending on who you listen to, we're either the 11th or the 12th largest economy in the world, if we were a separate nation. And because of that, we have 1,000 people per day moving to Texas. So we have an incredibly growing population, and those folks need services. And Texas is a very low taxing state. We have that reputation. That's why we're so attractive to so many businesses. We don't have a personal income tax. No one ever wants to start that. We have business taxes, and we've had to be careful about that because we're getting to the upper levels of business tax where some businesses are starting to complain and say we may look at other states instead of moving to Texas. We don't want that to happen. And then we have the property tax. And that's a mess because public education financing is a mess. So the fly in the ointment about the budget this last session, for one of the big issues was we realized we have to fix public education finance, and that will take a lot of big problems out of property taxes. And I'm like everybody else, I'll pay my fair share, but I don't want to pay any more than that. And I want to see those taxes spent efficiently and effectively. Now there's other strains on the budget. Public education, every year we have enough kids moving into Texas the size of Fort Worth Independent School District. They're going to need services. And I told you about the 1,000 per day moving in. We also have more and more people without medical insurance. So that has our medical cost going up. Everybody's medical cost is going up. And when you talk to people from other states, their two main costs, education and healthcare. Everybody's got the same two problems. We're all trying to solve the same two problems. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is that per capita, Texas is one of the lowest taxing states in the United States. So you put that in perspective, it makes us look good. So it's a multifaceted problem, and we tackle it every year, every session. But with a growing economy, a growing population, and growing needs, that's why our budget keeps creeping up little by little, even though we are very low spending. Thank you.
Mr. Evans, what would you have left out the last budget, and or what would you change with the next budget in order to have a positive impact?
Well, first and foremost, we're overregulated. We have regulatory agencies. For instance, whoever gave you your last haircut, did your last cosmetology, whatever you ladies like to call it, did your hair. There's somebody who gives those people licenses and comes and regulates the barber shop, the beauty shop. We have a Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission that does nothing more than go from one place to another to see who's selling alcohol, what conditions they sell it under. But guess what? If someone actually commits a crime for, I guess, an alcoholic beverage crime, I don't know how to put it, it's probably going to be a sheriff's deputy, a state trooper, or a city cop that's going to come and arrest him. So we've got all these agencies completely surrounded. Where we're standing right now, there's dozens of people who can take your freedom. Freedom is really important to me. But in our budget, I would love to cut regulatory agencies, and I would love to use the money that we save from doing that to beef up education. I love education. I love teachers. I married one. That being said, that budget that he's talking about went up over 20% from the year before, even though we have we're constitutionally required to balance the budget. It goes up from one session to the other, and the size of government and scope of government increases. And Dr. Sheffield loves to quote Ronald Reagan. I like Reagan too. My favorite quote that he says is, the worst thing that we can imagine coming is somebody that says, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. That just doesn't work for me. I think the government is part of the problem, and it needs to be much smaller. Many of the facets of what I believe and cling to are smaller government. There's not an agency other than our first responders and our educators that could not have been cut by a large percentage this last year. So the answer is, I would like to cut almost everybody, only holding sacred our teachers, our education, and our first responders, our road builders, infrastructure. Thank you.